is nearby and easy to reach. Welcome to Bremen, a historical Hanseatic city dating back more than 1200 years. With the impressive model ships in the UNESCO World Heritage Town Hall, the largest collection of German wines and the town musicians greeting you everywhere. We will be visiting the Gretl, which is the colorful and bohemian area, and we get lost in the small lanes of Schnoor. Let's explore. The first time I heard about Bremen is when I was a little kid and my mom told me bedtime stories. Of course, I am talking about the town musicians of Bremen, written down by the brothers Grimm. And even though they never actually arrive in Bremen according to the story, they are definitely here. Their most famous appearance is this bronze statue, erected in 1953. Holding both legs of the donkey brings good fortune. But holding only one leg, locals will say it's just one donkey shaking the hand of another. A good place to start exploring is the market square, the focal point of the city. You will find over 1200 years of history here, starting with the Cathedral of St. Peter, built in an early Gothic style in the first half of the 13th century. An old tradition demands that no other building may exceed the cathedral in height. In the middle of the square you will find Roland, landmark of the city and protector of its freedom. Legend says that Bremen will be free and independent for as long as Roland is on his watch. He is declared UNESCO World Heritage since 2004, together with the town hall. Both of them are just over 600 years old. And while the outside of the town hall is already very appealing, the inside is downright mesmerizing. In the upper hall you will find the most carefully crafted details and 4 magnificent battleship models.
You see, it's pretty old, 350 years old model, but the lower guns are too big. They are removable. You can fill them with gunpowder and you can fire with them. And this was done to delight the guests. Salute from tiny guns. I can't show you today because the air pressure was strong enough to shock the windows. They break, so they say 150 years ago, stop it. No,
don't do it anymore.
Don't do it anymore.
Wow.
So I can show you.
No.
But you can trust me, it still works. When they clean it, they take it, bring it to a building next, and they try out, and it still works.
It's amazing.
Another funny story is about the decorations on the ceiling. Portraits of the kings from the 600 years before this building was created. The painter, of course, didn't know these kings in person, so he invited some relatives to model for them. If you ever dreamt of being remembered as a king, just befriend a painter. Right under the town hall you will find the Rathskeller, with over 600 varieties of German wines. Yes, this is the largest collection of German wines anywhere in this world. The deeper you get into the vaults, the more exceptional and rare wines you will find. Some of the most exquisite bottles are safely protected in the treasure chamber. But one wine is king of them all.
Now we are entering the holiest place of the German wine world, which means we are now standing in front of the so-called rose wine. It's dated on the year 1653. For sure it is the oldest wine in a vat all over Europe, and and Germany, of course. We are not 100% sure it is the oldest wine all over the world, but probably it is. Probably it is.
You could still drink this wine, but the chance you ever will is very small. It's priceless now, and only the cellar master and the current mayor of Bremen are allowed to take a sip from it. Fortunately, there are also a lot of wines down here ready to be opened. Put some handmade chocolates in the mix and you're up for a very nice treat. Or enjoy a glass of wine in the restaurant upstairs. You can opt for one of these private little rooms, which are very charming and wonderfully decorated. They're over 400 years old, used by captains and traders to negotiate about the price of their goods in a private setting.
You're not allowed to close the door in here, and that's an old rule, because if there were two people in here and they would get into a fight, they would never know who started it. But if there are three people, there's always a witness.
And yes, that rule is still valid today. Just a few steps away from the market square, you will find the Böttcherstrasse. A local coffee merchant began buying all the houses here at the beginning of the 20th century. He completely rebuilt everything into a mixture of Art Deco and brick-built styles. Now, this 110-meter-long lane is filled with shops, restaurants, museums, and of course the famous carillon. Next up is Bremen's oldest district, the quarter of Schnoor. It's home to some of the smallest alleys of this town, dating back to the 15th and 16th century. The name Schnoor means string, which could refer to the making of ropes and cables here back in the day. Or it could be because the houses are lined up in a way they look like pearls on a string. It's the perfect place to take a stroll, take lots of pictures and get lost. Every now and then, just leave the streets and take a little sneak peek in what's behind the front door.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't crush it. And it's finished.
Honestly, I was pretty surprised with how I did as a first-timer. Though, of course, they are really the experts in getting this candy so beautifully nice and shining. Hard work makes one hungry, and fortunately, Schnoor is also home to a lot of very lovely restaurants and cafes. Like this lovely tea house. If I could take one place home with me, it would be this place. It's so picturesque with good tea and snacks. I just want to sit here all day long. Evening is approaching, so the last thing we need to talk about, of course, is food and nightlife. One of the most popular and lively areas is the Viertel, filled with cafes and pubs, together with galleries, theaters and movie houses. If you have time, definitely take a detour here and enjoy the street art you will find along the way. You will soon realize why this area is called the most colorful and bohemian part of town. Another recommendation for food is back on the market square where we started. At Market Hall 8 you will find flavors from all over the world. From Syrian to Korean, Vietnamese, you name it. Get different plates at different stalls and just share. They have events on a regular basis as well, with live music or, for example, a coffee-themed market. And of course, you cannot leave Bremen without visiting Schlachte embankment. Walk the promenade next to the Weser River and you will find beer gardens, antique and flea markets on certain days and riverboats that double up as a restaurant. It's the perfect place to end your stay in Bremen. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, leave your comments down below and don't forget to subscribe. All tips and tricks are also in the description box down below. See you next week. Doeg!